Hi everyone, good evening. Can you guys quickly let me know if you're able to hear me loud and clear? Also, how's everyone doing? How was your day? Did you do anything fun today? Or anything new, anything exciting, anything that you think is worth sharing with me? Anyone? Wow, great. Hi. Hi, Priyanshu. Hi. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Priyanshu. I'm glad that we were able to help you with, learning. Now, with respect to DILR, we will begin DILR once we are, almost covered the basics of quantitative aptitude, right? The reason being, again in DILR, we cannot be talking about the basics of, say, percentages or ratios or, averages. That'll be too, redundant, right? So to avoid this, duplication of content, what we are planning on doing is once, a good amount of quantitative aptitude is covered, and once it's clear that, we've covered almost all basics of it, then we'll move on with DINLR, right? So I hope that helps answer your question. Yeah. Superb, superb, great. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, people have started coming in. Great. Kunal, Nikunj, hello. Hi, Anuj. Hi, Beneath. Hello, Vibhor. Great, Kunal. Great. Okay, Yogesh. Hi. No issues, Yogesh. Yogesh, see, if you notice, I usually talk in English. Yes, just a few places where I need to, reinforce a few statements or something. Then I use another language, right? But yeah, I'll try and stick to more English, right? If that makes you any comfortable. Yes, great, super. Hi, 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 Beneath. Wanakam. Thank you so much, Vibhor. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Uh, 8D King reply to what? Reply to what 8D King? Like, hi? Reply to your hi? Hi. I don't know. Hi. Does that make you feel any better? Hi. Okay. Vibhor, great. Superman. Practicing questions on averages and LR. Beautiful, beautiful. Great. Raj Kamal, hello. Namaskar. Great. So, what we'll be looking at today is the second part of understanding averages and mixtures, right? In my previous lecture, we saw understanding averages, right? We looked at the basics of averages, how you can use the standard formula of average to answer any kind of question, and also how weighted average comes into picture, and how changes in averages or changes in the number of terms or elements would change the other factors, right? So that is a quick gist of yesterday's session, right? In today's session, what we'll be looking at is one, the basics of mixtures. Yes, mixtures, to be frank, is not very frequently asked question type, but then again, even if a small concept will help you answer even one question, right? That can up your score to up to at least 5 percentile, right? So yeah, so that is what we're going to start with, right? Basics of mixtures. We'll also be looking at something called replacement. Yes. And towards the end, right, this is the most important part, that is allegations. Yes. Allegations do not only help in answering questions related to mixtures or related to averages, but it also helps answer a lot of questions from other concepts also. Yes, you can easily go ahead and answer linear equations questions using averages. Yes, you can also answer questions from a little bit from time, speed, distance, a little bit from time and work as well, right? So allegations is going to be a method, right, that will lay foundation for a lot of other concepts to come. Yes, and you can use this as a replacement of most other commonly used concepts. Yes, so today there'll be more weightage on weighted average. Yes, great. Hi, hi. Okay, 8D is this important for JEE? I wouldn't say it is very important, right? Although a small part of it can actually be used from here, right? It's not very useful though, right? Just a small percentage, a small part of it, yes, of course you can. Yeah. सुपर बिनेत राइट सो विबोर प्रॉफिट और लॉस में मिक्स करके देते हैं और मिक्सचर नहीं समझ में आया मेरे को आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड विबोर व्हाट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट great. Okay. So a few things that I want you to have in your hand beforehand, right? One, of course, if you're planning on using a calculator in today's session, then I want you to use a calculator not on your phone, but on your laptop or your computer, because that's the kind of calculator that would be, allowed in the actual CAT as well, right? So I'm hoping you guys have understood, you've realized that the calculator is not going to come in a lot of handy, right? It's not going to be very comfortable to use, which basically means you will have to get some, getting used to with it. Yes. So you'll have to get used to using the on-screen calculator. Yes. The kind of operations that it can do, and also the difficulty with using the mouse, right? So unless you become extremely comfortable, extremely acquainted with these, discomforts, it might be very difficult for you to use that in the test. So if you're planning on using the calculator, start using it on your computers, right? Do not use your keyboard, use your mouse. Number two, I hope you guys are taking notes as well, right? I hope you're maintaining a separate note also, right? Because these shortcuts, these formulas or whatever, these may not be, you might not be able to come back to the videos and search for it throughout the 1.5 hours, right? So what I'd suggest is you maintain a separate note where you can take down these important shortcuts, important tricks, or important formulae or whatever, right? Third thing is, of course, right, a bottle of water, because you know how I roll, right? We will be taking a sip of water after completion of every concept, be it a major concept or a minor concept. We will celebrate by, drinking one sip of water, right? That's the most soberest thing we can do right now, right? So I want you all to also have a water bottle next to you. Yes. And if you guys are ready, I also want the fourth thing that I want from you is the energy. Yes. So I'm gonna ask for the last time, how is the Josh, guys? Are you all ready? Are you all excited to learn something new today? Something that might come in handy, something that will help you up your score, boost your score, right? So anyone who was planning on getting 90th percentile, right? You can very well go ahead and start aiming for 95th percentile. Anyone who was already aiming for 95th percentile, you know what to aim for, right? Anyone who wants to aim for the 100th percentile, nobody is going to think twice before doing that, right? Because you can go ahead and do that. We guys are here to help you achieve that. Yes. So without further ado, do we have any new people here, right? Any new people? Anyone who's not been attending my live classes so far? Yes. If so, my name is Amit Surana. I am an aeronautical engineer from Chennai. I have over 5+ years of teaching quantitative aptitude, and I've helped over 2 lakh students achieve what they wanted to. Yes, if you're planning to share this on any of your social media platforms, do not forget to use hashtag #CatLiveDaily. And if you're planning on joining some kind of a community where you can actually get more information, right, where there's a lot of information sharing happening, this is the one place that you should actually be on, right? Download the Telegram app. Yes, use this URL, tinyurl.com/unacademy chat. If you guys have not yet done it, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. I'll give you about 30 seconds. Do that. Yes, join the Telegram app, because that is where most of the after session action would happen. Yes. And also, if you're planning on taking up the subscription in a subscription model of Unacademy's Plus, yes, please have a look at the prices, right? These are cheaper, way cheaper than actually using Netflix for a month, right? So if you're planning on spending it on Netflix, I'd probably suggest you try to consider this as well. Yeah, because once you clear, once you take this up and you crack CAT and you get into, your dream IIMs and get a dream job, after that I think you could actually, afford taking, Netflix's highest rated, package, right? So yeah, that's an investment that's worth, putting in, right? So when you do so, do not forget to use the code Surana Live. That will fetch you a lot of discounts, as well as it'll send some love towards me. It'll let me know that you've joined the Plus platform because Amit Surana had told you to do so. Yes, so do not forget to use the code Surana Live. Yes. Now, without any further ado, we are going to begin with today's session. Yes, understanding averages and mixtures, part 2. This is my 11th lecture on Unacademy's CAT channel. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you have to do it right away, right? Quickly swipe down, subscribe to it, hit like on this video, and come back real soon because we're going to begin with the session today. ओके विनीत विनीत सपोर्ट करने के लिए थैंक यू, बट यहाँ पे किसी ने शायद पूछा नहीं। अच्छा छोड़ो, कोई नहीं, नो इश्यूज नो इश्यूज, थैंक यू गाइस, ग्रेट। ठीक है ठीक है। Right. Girish says it's cheaper than. Acha, you really want to compare Netflix, right? Anyway, yeah, people have priorities. I'm not gonna force you to go for anything, but then yeah, it's just about what your priorities are, right? All right. So here is the first concept of today's lecture, right? Base is to part. Yes. So this is a concept from mixtures where we talk about how a particular mixture, if a part of that particular base quantity is removed or if it's magnified or whatever, the ratio of its contents always remain the same. Yes. So to reiterate, the base quantity, right? In the base quantity, if the ratio of, let's say, any two elements, two liquids, two solids, two powders, anything, right? If the ratio is A is to B, then whatever part you pick out of it, whatever part you remove from it, or whatever, in whatever way, if you try to magnify the quantity, right, the ratio will always remain the same. Yes, it will still be A is to B. Now if you haven't understood this, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a container that that can take up to 100 liters, right? Now in this 100 liters container, you add 60 liters of water, right? You add 60 liters of water in it. Yes. And you add 40 liters of milk in it. Yes. That's basically the ugly truth, right? This is what is happening in the industry right now. Yes, there's so much adulteration, there's so much mixing that's happening, that the real content, the real feel of it is gone any which ways, right? So keep with this in mind, right? So we have a 100-liter container with 60 liters of water in it and 40 liters of milk in it, right? Now my question to you is, if I remove 10 liters from it, right, if I were to take a smaller, let's say a smaller can or something, right, and I dip it inside the bigger can and I remove 10 liters, yes, would it have 10 liters of milk in it, or would it have 10 liters of water in it? Quick guys, can you quickly answer? Would this smaller can, would this can, right, this particular can, would it have 10 liters of milk or 10 liters of water? If I use this can to take it from the top, let's say this is the top of the container, I'm going to use this can, right, dip it from the top and take it out. Yeah, would it have 10 liters of milk or water? Or if I were to use a tap here, let's say I were to fix a tap here, and if I were to pull out some 10 liters in this particular can from this bigger container, would it have 10 liters of water? Yes, correct, correct. Yeah. See, now the moment a question states that there were two liquids that were mixed, right? For example, here we have water and milk. At the very next moment, right, the very next moment, it is understood that this entire 100 liters has now become one particular liquid, right? A liquid that has 40 liters milk and 60 liters water, which means there is this mixture has gone through a molecular change. Now do you understand? Right? Not exactly molecular change, right? Chemistry fanatics, do not start questioning me already. When I say molecular level, I mean at a very micro level, these two components are mixed now. So now whatever quantity I remove out of it, right, that particular quantity, the ratio will always stay the same. Yes. So even in a question, in a question, if they say that from this container, right, from this container, if you remove 10 liters of milk, yes. Now, is it possible for you to remove 10 liters of milk alone? Are you a swan? If you've heard of that myth, right? Swans are capable of, separating milk from water, but it's a myth. Yes, it's not a fact. Yeah. So you won't be able to do that, but basically means that these 10 liters, right? These 10 liters will also be a mixture of what? Water and milk. Yes. And some of you have told it very beautifully that the ratio would also remain the same. Yes. Which means in these 10 liters, we would have what? The ratio of water to milk, right? The ratio of water to milk will stay the same, will remain constant, 3 is to 2. So here is 60 liters, 40 liters, that is 3 is to 2. Here also it's going to be the same. So if I were to split these 10 liters, right? Split these 10 liters into 3 is to 2 parts, which basically means what? 6 liters and 4 liters, right? So we would have what? 6 liters of water in this particular container and 4 liters of milk in it. Do you get it? Yes. So here also, if you've noticed, the ratio would still remain the same, 3 is to 2, right? So that's the idea, that's the base idea behind base is to part concept, right? So base liquid, what is the ratio? 3 is to 2. The same ratio will be maintained even in smaller parts of it. Got it? Any confusions here? No? Okay, now I'm going to tell you how to do this calculation real quick, right? Since we've already learned, right? Since we've already learned about percentages, right? You can actually use this concept here. Yeah. You can always stick to ratios, right? You can, continue sticking to ratios, but then if you have the liberty to use percentages, I'd say go ahead and do that. Yes. So how do I make 100 liters as 10 liters? What do I have to do? I have to take 10 percentage, right? So if I take 10 percentage of 100 liters, what happens? I have a smaller container with 10 liters in it, correct? Because 10 percentage of 100 liters is how much? 10 liters. Yes. The same thing would happen with every component of it as well, right? So 40 liters, 10 percentage is how much? 4 liters. Yes. And 60 liters, 10 percentage is how much? 6 liters. Do you get it? Yes. So you can also go ahead and use percentages here if you want. Yes, but ratios to hai hai, right? You can always rely upon ratios, but percentages would make it real quick for you to answer these kind of questions, right? Do we have any confusions here? So I'm going to reiterate things. Base quantity, if the components are in the ratio A is to B, not only two components, let's say three components or four components, right? If this is the ratio, A is to B is to C is to D, then even smaller parts or bigger parts also, right, the ratio would always remain the same. Are we clear? Yes. Great. Anuj, please check. You would not get 2 is to 3. You would get 3 is to 2. If you're getting 2 is to 3, all that you've done is you've considered milk is to water. Yes, sometimes you have to be very careful here, guys. Yes, when they talk about ratios, you have to know which part of the ratio signifies which quantity. Yes. Otherwise, yes, beautiful. Yeah, so this was the basic of it, right? This was the basic of it. If there's anything that you've not understood, you can please go ahead and let me know, right? Yeah, okay. Now let's move on to the example question, right? Because we do not only, verbally teach you how to swim, but we also make sure that we push you into a smaller pond for now, right? Not into an ocean or a river. Yes, we push you first in a smaller pond and see how well are you able to swim, right? So here is a pond in front of you. Here is a very simple question in front of you. Yes, this question should not take you more than 30 seconds, but if you do take more than 30 seconds, it is okay for now, because right now what we care about is the amount of efforts that you can put in. Yes, efforts are what matters right now at this point in at this stage. Yes, so you have a question in front of you. Yes, let's see if you can quickly answer this. Balram, nahi. So Balram, when I say if we magnify, right, Balram, if I was talking about magnifying the quantity, है ना? So how you would magnify the quantity is there was that one container, right? अच्छा, अगला question करोगे ना, समझ में आ जाएगा. When you do the next question, your question will automatically get answered. ठीक है? So I'm gonna answer your doubt, your question with the help of another question. Yes, ऐसा paradox कहीं देखा है? Answers are in. Are we getting the answers? Okay, Vibhor's answer is here. Riya, Rajkamal, superb. Balram, great. Yes, this is a very simple question, guys. This should not take you more than 30 seconds, like I said. Yes. Actually, sometimes for a question like this, even 30 seconds is an overstatement, right? You can actually try and solve this question in about 15 seconds, right? Half the time. All you have to do is make sure that you have some calculations running in your subconscious mind. Yes, so every time you look at some part of the question, there should be something running in your subconscious mind, right? So here, what do we have? We have a milkman fills 3 parts water with 5 parts milk. So what do we know? Water is to milk. The ratio is stated here, right? Very clearly. Water is to milk. The ratio is what? 3:5. Yes. In a 40-gallon container, right? So this container is what? 40 gallons. Yes, 40-gallon container. Now what are they saying? They're removing 10 gallons of it, right? 10 gallons of it is removed, and they're asking how much milk would it contain. Milk would be what? 5 parts, right? So I have multiple ways of dealing with this question. The standard way would be using the ratios, right? Base is to part concept we've learned about 15-20 seconds ago, right? So what do we know? The ratio will remain the same. Water is to milk, the ratio would still be 3:5. Yes. This basically means what? That there will be 5 parts. Yes, 5 parts of milk, in total 8 parts. Do you get it? Yes. So how you would deal with this is, you want milk. That is 5 parts, right? Out of how many parts though? There are 3 parts water, 5 parts milk. So can I say total 8 parts? Yes. This is for every liter. This is for 1 liter. So here we are talking about 10, okay, liters, gallons, whatever. This is for 1 unit. For 10 units is what we have to calculate now, right? So 50 by 8 is going to be your answer. How you calculate 50 by 8 is the key here. Yes. If you've learned something in percentages, that is 1 by 8 in terms of percentage is how much? 6.25 percentage, right? Yes. So here, sorry, 12.5 percentage, right? But here it will become what? It will become 1.25. Yes, because it is 10 by 8. There it was 100 by 8. That's why, right? So 1.25 into 5, you can go ahead and do that. Yes. Or the fastest way would be what? To divide something by 8 directly, right? So 50 by 8 is basically what? Halving a number, right? Halving a number 3 times. Yeah. So 50 by 2 is 25. 25 by 2 is 12.5. 12.5 by 2 is how much? 6.25. Yes. So how you go ahead and do this calculation would depend upon you, right? So for a question like this, you can actually save a lot of time in calculation. Yes. What would be the other way of doing this? What is the reason behind them giving this 40 gallons, right? There has to be some importance to that, right? So if you see, it's actually very easy to split 40 gallons into 3:5 ratio. Why? Because the total is 8, which means every part is 5 gallons, right? So if I were to split this 40 grams, right? 40 gallons, if I were to split this 40 gallons into water and milk, right? How much is it going to be? 3 parts, which means 15 parts or 15 gallons of this would be water. 5 parts, which is 25 parts. Yes. Now if you notice what's happening here, this is being divided by 4, right? This is 25 percentage. 40 gallons, 25 percentage is 10 gallons. So all we have to do is calculate 25 percentage of this, or divide this by 4. If you notice what you're doing here is very similar to this. See, 50 by 8 is what we did here, which is as equal to 25 by 4, right? So the answer is going to be what? 6.25 liters. Yes. So how you go ahead and answer this question depends upon you, right? The main thing with this question is, guys, there were answer choices, right? So whenever you have answer choices, do not try to overlook them. Yes, try to give them as much importance as they deserve. Yes, for example, if you look at these answer choices, right? Look at these answer choices. Yes, now what do we know for a fact? We know for a fact that the amount of milk, right? The amount of milk is more than water. Do you agree with that? The amount of milk is more than water. Yes. So in 10 liters, if these two were equal, if there were equal quantities of milk and water, what would we get? 5 liters of both, correct? But since they are not equal, what does it mean? Milk has to be more than 5 liters. Yes, the only answer choice of 5 gallons, whatever, 5 units, right? The only answer choice that is more than 5 gallons is what? Answer option B. Yes. So basis this method, right? Basis this method is when I said that you can answer this question in less than 15 seconds, right? You would have probably taken about 8 seconds in reading the question, and in not more than 5-6 seconds you can actually come up with the answer to this. Yes. So always consider the answer choices as a part of the question, because that is what is going to help you get the answer real quick. Yes. So are we comfortable now dealing with questions from mixtures, right? Base to part concept. Any confusions here? Okay, Prince, correct, Prince. Yeah, that's exactly what I also said, right? Yeah, you always consider answer choices whenever they are given. Yes. So here we are not even, reverse engineering. We're just eliminating answer choices, right? This is too less. This is too less. This is only possible if milk and water are equal, which is not. So answer is B. Yes. So if you've understood this particular question, right? If you understood this example, then the next question should be very simple for you to answer. So there's another question here, right? There's a small twist in this question. Instead of directly asking, what they've done is they've introduced a variable here, right? But do not worry, do not worry. You can always avoid these variables by, assuming something. Or if you're good with dealing with variables, then go ahead and do that, right? Remember, this question also has answer choices, and that's what you have to depend upon. Are you all ready? Yes. All right, then go ahead and answer this question. Let's see if you can get the answer to this real quick. Okay, beneath, reverse engineering is the term I use when we do not go from the question to the answer, but we take the reverse route, right? We start from the solution and then we move towards the problem. That's basically assigning the answer choice in the question. That's it. Yes. So every question will have some kind of a condition. You assign the answer choice, whichever you think is the right answer choice in the equation or in the given scenario, and see if that condition is satisfied. Simple as that, right? There are answer choices coming in. Answers are coming in. Raj Kamal, Girish, Anjali have already answered. How about the others? This question is also real simple, only with a small twist, right? Okay. Ritika, to be frank, these lessons or lectures or the questions that we are dealing with, right? They're purely for CAT. Yeah. But when I say CAT, it also includes other aptitude tests, other entrance tests or common tests, right? That would help you get through some kind of a filtration process, right? But a JEE, to be frank, would require a little more than this. Yes. So I'm not going to say that JEE is more difficult than that, but then the kind of concepts that JEE deals with are slightly different from CAT's concept, right? So the syllabus is different, the kind of questions is different, right? The complexity of the questions are also kind of different. Yes. So I wouldn't want to give you any false hopes. You can always hang on. You can always, try to attend my sessions also. But then I'd rather suggest, if you're planning on taking JEE specifically, then I'd want you to go ahead and, move towards the JEE channel. Yes, because that's where everything concentrated towards JEE is happening. Yes. Okay, so not many answers have come yet. Not many answers have come yet. I'm still gonna wait for you guys to give me the answers. Yes, okay, now they've started coming in. Great, great. All right, super. Okay, so a majority have said that the answer is option C, 150Q. Yes, which is right. 3/5 of Q is a trap answer, guys. 3/5 of Q is actually a partial answer, right? So what you've done is you've looked at this particular ratio 2:3, and you've understood that preservatives is 3 parts out of 2. Yes, that basically means preservatives would be what? 3 parts out of total 2 and 3, 5 parts, right? So 3/5 would be in one box. Yes, in terms of fractions, right? Per unit, it's 3/5. And since you're looking at q such boxes, you have just multiplied with it, right? But what you have to focus here, guys, what you have to focus here is not your answers, whether your answers are right, no, whether they're matching with the format of the given answer choices. Yes. So if you actually look at this, 3/5 of a milliliter, right, 3/5 of an ml is actually too less, isn't it? Right? It's too less, right? Whatever be the value of Q, 3/5 of a milliliter is going to be too less, right? So that's not our right answer, guys. Yes. So here, someone had asked about, magnifying the quantity, right? Magnifying the quantity. Anyone, sorry, my bad. Anyone who had asked for magnifying the quantity, here is your chance, right? Look at this question. 250 ml is the capacity of a box of orange juice, right, which has fruit extract and preservatives in the ratio 2:3. Yes, so this is going to be what? 3/5 is going to be the fraction of orange juice, or fraction of preservatives in this box, right? But in terms of ml, it is how much? 3/5 of how many ml, guys? 250 ml, right? So this is very important. This is very important. Now what they're saying is Q such boxes are emptied in a can, which means there's a bigger can where Q such boxes, which means there could be 2 boxes, 1 boxes, 3 boxes, 10 boxes, half a box, a quarter of a box, anything, right? Q's value could take up anything. Obviously, it cannot take up 0 because we are talking about something physicality, which means we need a natural number, right? And we are not talking about negatives because you cannot have -3 boxes of orange juice, right? Like, it's not even practical, right? So Q's value can be anything, yes, but what you understand here, whatever be the Q's value, right? My content of preservatives is going to be what? A multiple of 150. Yes, so whatever is Q's value, the amount of preservatives is going to be what? A multiple of 150. Yes, which is what? Option C. Clear? Yes. So this is the concept behind magnifying also. So let's say if the value of Q here was 2, then what would happen? We would have 300 ml of preservatives in it, right? If the value here was 10, then we would have 1500 ml of preservatives, right? However, the ratio still remains the same, 2:3. Got it? So if we have 1500 ml of preservatives, then there'll be 1000 ml of fruit extract. 300 ml. You understand the point here, right? Yes. Great. So this was the end of the understanding of mixtures, right? Especially the base to part concept, right? Since we have successfully completed a concept, it's time for us to celebrate. Yes. Raise your bottles, glasses, whatever, guys, and take a sip real quick. Yes. All right. Super. Correct, Aju. Correct. Yes, that's what this entire question is all about, right? Great. So please avoid falling for these traps, right? These traps are purely set for what? for you to be misleaded. Yes. Also, another thing that I'd want to highlight to you, right? If you look at this 100q, yes, 100q is going to be what, guys? If 150q was preservatives, then 100q is what? The amount of fruit extract, right? So this is the part of the question that was not asked. Yes, so always keep in mind, to make a note of what is expected of you from the question. Yes. Also, this is the other half of this. Yes. So these are clearly trap answers. Yes. C is my answer. Great. Okay. So now that we've successfully completed, the mixture part of it, right? The base to part of it. Let's try to up this a bit. Yes. Let's try to bring in a twist in this, right? What if after removing these 10 liters, right? After removing whatever smaller quantity, after removing that, what if this was replaced with another liquid? For example, here, right? This is the concept behind replacement. Yes. So here what's happening? Do you remember we saw in the first concept, right? We had water and milk, right? In the ratio what? 3 is to 2. Yes. Now, if I remove 10 liters from it, yes, the ratio would still remain to be 3 is to 2. Correct? Out of 100 liters, I remove 10 liters, it will still be 3 is to 2. Remaining 90 liters, right? Remaining 90 liters, it is still going to be what? 3 is to 2. But the moment I talk about replacing the liquid, yes, when I remove this 10 liters, yes, if I try to add 10 liters of pure something, yes, pure, let's say water or pure milk, whatever, right, then this ratio will not remain the same. Got it? Yes, then this ratio will be changed. So the idea here is what? The ratio of base and part quantity always remains the same unless the contents are changed, right? So of the base liquid, right, this is the base liquid, isn't it? This contents, if we are changing, that is, if we are trying to change the ratio, the concentration, then the ratio will change, otherwise it's going to remain the same. All right, with that thought in your mind, let's see if you can quickly answer this question. Yes, quickly go ahead, answer this question. There are no answer choices here. Yes, consider this as a TITA type of question where you have to type in the answer. All right, so anyone who does not know what TITA stands for, it is type in the answer. Yes. Girish Madristha, cheers, buddy, cheers. Oh, okay. Downpour. Deepak, which part of the country are you from? Where is it raining so badly? Come on, guys. Answers नहीं आ रहे हैं. मुश्किल लग रहा है. Yeah. Is it kind of long? Is it taking you long, or are you not able to understand the concept? Great. Vibhor has an answer. Very good, Vibhor. Great. Super. Oh, Deepak, you're from Kerala. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. It should be great at this point in time, right? I mean, I'm not talking about the pandemic situation, but apart from that, it's actually kind of beautiful. Yes. Great. Himanshu, Rajkamal, Anjali. Okay, very nice. Vibhor. Okay. Right. So a few parts of this question that I'd want you to consider. Part number one, what is happening? There is a container with 100 liters of pure sesame oil, right? So sesame is nothing but sarson, right? In Hindi. So there's 100 liters of pure sesame oil, right? What is happening? 10 liters are removed out of it and it is replaced with palm oil. Yes. So anyone who knows what palm oil is, you know that this is what is used for most kind of adulterations in oil, right? So they're removing 10 liters of pure oil, pure sesame oil, and they're replacing it with palm oil, right? So now what has happened? Now what has happened? Initially, what did we have? The situation was what? 100 liters of pure sesame oil, right? So 100 liters sesame oil was there. Initially, 10 liters were removed. Yes, which means now we would have had 90 liters left of sesame oil, correct? In this 90 liters, right? In this 90 liters, what are they doing? They're replacing it with palm oil, which means they're adding 10 liters of palm oil in it. Yes, 10 liters of palm oil in it. Which means now what do we have? We have a 100-liter container where there's 90 liters of sesame oil and 10 liters of palm oil. Yes. Now what are they asking? This particular replacement process is repeated 3 more times. Now anyone who said the answer is 72.9, I appreciate the amount of efforts that you put in, but you know you've done something wrong here, right? There is some kind of importance given to this word more. 3 more times means what? After this process, this is done 3 more times. Yes. Okay, so please check anyone who said the answer is 72.9. Okay, now coming back to this particular logic, what's happening here? What do we have here? So here we have the ratio that is being changed. Initially, what was the ratio of sesame oil is to palm oil? Sesame oil 100 liters, palm oil none. Yes, so the initial ratio was 1:0. Yes, but now what has happened? The ratio has changed to what? 9:1. Correct? The ratio has changed to what? 9:1. Now if I repeat this process again, the ratio will still change. Once more, the ratio will again change, right? But then what does not change? The base quantity, right? The base quantity always remains 100 liters. Yes, just that its components are now meddled with, right? If we start meddling with if we start changing the components, the ratio keeps changing, right? Now let's try and understand this question, right? In a more situational manner, right? So we have 100 liters throughout, right? 100 liters throughout. So I'm going to use a different colored pen. Right. So we have 100 liters, right? 100 liters is the base liquid. This is going to be the same always. Yes. Initially, we had 100 liters of sesame oil, 0 liters of palm oil. The ratio of sesame is to palm was how much? 100:0, which is 1:0, all the same. So this was, we haven't still done anything, right? The process is 0th process, right? Now, when we do this process for the first time, right? This replacement process, what are we doing? We are removing 10 liters from 100 liters, right? If I remove 10 liters from here, how much would be left? 90 minus 10, sorry, 100 minus 10, 90 liters. And we are adding 10 liters of palm oil in it, which means now this is 10 liters. Yes, what is the ratio now? 90:10 is 9:1. So now we have successfully completed this replacement process one time. Yes, to check if what you've done is right, 90 plus 10 is how much? 100 liters. So the base liquid or the base quantity should always remain the same, right? Now if this process is done one more time, right, from 90 liters, if I were to again remove, sorry, not from 90 liters guys, now I cannot remove only 10 liters of sesame oil from 90 liters. Why? Because now sesame oil and palm oil have become one single liquid, right? I cannot separate sesame oil from palm oil. So what am I going to do? When I remove 10 liters, it's going to be in the ratio 9:1. Yes, I can either stick to ratios here or I can stick to the concept of percentage, right? 10 percentage, out of 100 liters, if I remove 10 liters, what is it? It is 10 percentage, correct? So for individual components also, if I remove 10 liters, it's going to work. Out of 90 liters, if I remove 10 percentage, not 10 liters, 10 percentage, 90 liters, 10 percentage, if I remove, how much is left? 10 percentage of 90 is 9. If I remove 9 from here, right, 90 minus 9, which is going to be how much? 81. Yes, so 81 liters of sesame oil. From 10 liters, I am going to remove how much? 1 liter. Why? 10 percentage. 10 cut 10 percentage is how much? 1. So 10 minus 1 is how much? 9. But after removing this, what am I doing? I'm adding 10 liters of palm oil because we are replacing it, right? So now the final quantity of palm oil in this is how much? 19 liters, right? So now if you see, the ratio has again changed, right? 81 is to 19. Yes. So this is the process second time. Yes. If I were to check, 81 plus 19 is how much? 100 liters. Yes. If I were to do this one more time, what will I do? I'll remove 10 percentage from here, right? If I remove 10 percentage from 81, what will happen? I remove 8.1, right? So out of 81, if I remove 8.1, what is left, guys? 72.9. है ना? 72.9 is how much? Sesame. Out of 19, I'm gonna remove 10 percentage, that is 1.9. If I remove 1.9 from here, what am I left with? 17.1. Yes, 17.1 is already there. In this, I add 10 liters of palm oil because I'm replacing it. Yes, what will be here? 27.1 liters. Yes, so the ratio now becomes what? 279 is to, sorry, 729 is to 271, right? This is me doing this process the third time. If I were to do this one more time, I'll get my answer, right? So to check 72.9, 27.1, 100 liters, right? Which means I'm doing this process right, in the right manner. Yeah, 72.9 में से I have to again remove 10 percentage, which means out of 72.9 I'm going to remove how much? 7.29, right? So see here, 72.9. Yes, if I remove 7.29, right? 7.29. Yes, how much would be left? So 9 minus 29 is basically 9 minus 30, which is 6. And since I've removed one extra, I'm going to give it back. So 0.61, right? 72 minus 7 is what you have to do. So you can do 77 minus 7, which is 70. Since you've added 5 extra, you have to remove it. It is how much? 65. Yes. So how much is left now? 65.61 liters of sesame oil is left. This basically will answer my question. The question is asking what? In the final liquid, in the final, when this is done 3 times, right? Not 3 times, 3 more times. So the actual intention there was to let you know that the number of times this process is done is 4 times. Why? First time they have already explained to us, and then they've used the word 3 more times. So ek bar ho gaya, 3 more times, which means 4 times, right? Now, so this is the answer to the question, right? But if I were to find the amount of palm oil, all I have to do is what? Either I can, subtract from 100, because I know this will obviously satisfy this condition, right? 100 minus 65.61 is going to be how much, guys? Yeah, 34.31. Sorry, 39. Yes. Yeah, so this is going to be my what? Final palm oil quantity, right? In terms of liters, of course, in terms of liters. Final palm oil quantity in the liquid. Yes. If you look at the ratio, it has again changed. 6561 is to 3439, right? Now, what I want you to have a look at in this particular case is what? See, first it was 100 liters. From that, we've removed 10 percentage, right? So 100 percentage, if I remove 10 percentage, what is left? 90 percentage. So can I say every time all I'm doing is I'm finding 90 percentage of it? That's basically what? 0.9. 90 percentage is 0.9, right? 100 into 0.9 is how much? 90. 90 into 0.9 is how much? 9 into 9 is 81. 810 divided by 10, 81. Again, this into 0.9 is how much? Yes, 72.9. This again into 0.9 is how much? This much, right? So can I say all I'm doing is what? Identifying what part, right? Initially, what was the concentration, right? That was what? 90s to 10. That's basically what? 90 percentage is removed, right? Sorry, yeah, 90 percentage is retained, 10 percentage is removed. So how did I get this percentage value? By this. 10 liters is the removing, 10 liters is the quantity that we are removing out of what? 100 liters. So this is what is removed out of what? 100 liters. Yes, so this in terms of percentage is how much? 90 percentage, right? Why? 100 minus this, right? Do you get it? In terms of percentage, this is how much? 90%. Yes. Any confusions here? How will I convert this into percentage? By 100. That's basically it, right? Anyway, so 90 percentage. Yes. So this particular thing is done what? 4 times. So 90 percentage, if I keep doing it 4 times, I'll get my answer. Yes. So this is actually put in terms of a formula. If you want a formula, anyone who wants to, sir, I'd rather, instead of using some logic, I'd rather stick to a formula. The formula is here for you, right? The original component, right? The quantity of original component is basically T into 1 minus R by T whole power n. This is not into n, this is whole power n. Yes, this is whole power n. Yeah. Which means T is nothing but the total quantity or the base quantity. In this case, it was how much? 100. Yes, 100 into 1 minus, what is R? The amount that is removed or replaced, which is how much? 10 liters. Yes, over the total, that is 100. Whole power n is nothing but the number of times this process is done, which is 4 times, right? This is basically what? 100 into, if you see 100 into 100 minus 10 is 90. 90 over 100 is how much? 0.9. Yes, power 4. Do you get it? Right? So this basically is what we've done earlier in an elaborated manner. That particular step was done only to explain to you how 90 percentage is applied to it, right? So you can stick to this as well, right? Directly use the formula or use the logic. Yes. What is the logic? Out of 100 liters, first 90 percentage I remove. Of whatever is left, again 90 percentage is not removed, that is retained. Again, out of that 90 percentage is retained. Again 90 percentage is retained. Yes. So totally would be what? 0.9 power 4 is basically how much? 9, 81, 721, 6561, right? So this will be how much? 0.6561, which into 100 is how much? 65.61 liters. Got it? Now using this, can we calculate how much palm oil was there? Of course. How much palm oil was there? Total is 100, right? Total is 100. Out of this, if 65.61 is what? If 65.61 is sesame, then the remaining is going to be what? Palm oil, which is 34.39. Got it? Yes, I hope you guys are able to follow, right? This is the shortcut. Balram, of course. I obviously I'm not gonna tell you a method that cannot be done in 90 seconds, right? The reason why I explained to you in detail about that is if if you were not to follow a formula or a logic, and if you were to do something on your own, if you had the time to do it, or if you wanted to understand what's going on in your practice, during your practice, then you can do that. Yes. This is a pure example of what I always say, right? What do I always say? I always say that hard work before the exam, be lazy during the exam. Yes, so before your test, put in as much hard work as you can, right? But during the test, become as lazy as you can. So anyone who's lazy would stick to this particular logic. Clear? Balram, very nice, very nice. This is almost a compound interest formula. Compound interest mein kya hota hai? It keeps getting added. So it will be what? P into 1 plus R by T or R by 100, whatever power n. Yes. So that is plus there. क्योंकि वहां पे increase होता है. Interest keeps increasing. Here the quantity keeps reducing. Right? Got it? Great. Superb guys. Superb. Any confusions here? Dev Gupta, if you haven't understood the question, don't worry. Yes, just try to re-watch this particular video where there's some quantity already there. 10 liters are removed and it is replaced with another liquid. Yes, sesame oil is there. 10 liters are removed. After removing 10 liters, I'm adding 10 liters of what? Palm oil, right? Raj Kamal, yeah, very similar. Correct, Aditya. Yes, correct, Aditya. This exactly means what? That this is depreciation. Why? The value keeps depreciating every time some liquid is removed, right? The base liquid is removed, right? This is exactly that. Yes. Now, if you've understood, so far we've understood what? We've understood the concept of base is to part, and we've understood the concept of replacement. Yes. Now, This is all you need to know about mixtures, because this is the amount of information that is required to answer major questions that are asked in CAT based on mixtures, right? Which in itself is kind of not very frequent. Yes. Okay. Now what we're going to talk about, guys, this is the highlight of today's session, right? This is what you guys are actually been waiting for, right? This is what I have been waiting for, right? Allegations. Yeah, allegations is the highlight of today's session. Yes, allegations clearly helps us answer questions without actually dealing with equations. It also helps us finding out combined averages. It also helps us establishing what weighted average is, right? So can you guys quickly tell me what weighted average is? This we discussed yesterday. Not more than 24 hours have been over. Can you guys quickly tell me what is the logic behind weighted average? Yes, a quick question just to check if you guys are actually paying attention or not. Yes. Can you quickly tell me what is the concept behind weighted average? Anyone? Malram, not exactly the average, but the sum. Yes. So combined average. Combined average is nothing but what? Sum of all given quantities over the number of quantities, right? So that's the logic that we're going to use here as well for allegations, right? To make you understand what allegations are all about, right? So first thing that we have to keep in mind is we know that the total average, right? The combined average of anything is going to be what? Sum over the number of averages or number of terms in this case. Sum is nothing but what? Sum of any term is nothing but what? Average into the number of terms, right? Yes, so that's what is being used here. Okay, now what will happen if I take this denominator, right? If I take this the other side, what would happen? We would have total average into n1 plus n2 would be equal to what? The sum of these two, not the difference of these two, the sum of these two. Yes. Yeah. Now what I want from here is to make sure that the n1s are on one end and n2s are on one end, right? So this is going to be minus. Yes, don't worry, this is minus. ये plus नहीं है, ये minus होगा. Why? Because if I take a1 n1 to the other side, it's going to be what? Minus. Yeah. And I take at n2 to the other side, this will become minus. Yes. So I hope you understand what is happening here, right? This is equations. We're just dealing with the equation, right? This is minus. And if I take a further step ahead, right? If I take n1 common here, right? Let me take n1 common. What will be left? At minus a1. Yes. And here if I take n2 common, what will be left? A2 minus at. है ना? So here if I take n1 common, what will be left? At minus a1. Yes. Would be equal to what? N2 into n2, I'm going to take common out there, which will give me what? A2 minus at. Yes. Now here, what do we mean by A1 and A2? A1 and A2 are the averages of the two given terms or two given groups, whatever, right? These are the averages. N1, N2 are what? The quantities of these groups. Yes. So the combined average, if we consider that, yes, what do we get? The ratio of the quantities, right? The ratio of the two groups quantities, N1 and N2, is basically what? Difference between the second quantity's average and the combined average. Yes. Over combined average minus first quantity's average, right? So this is something that we will be using, yes, in the concepts throughout, right? So allegations is basically this means what? The part, right? The ratio here n1 is to n2, right? This part depends upon the difference between what? A2 and AT, and N2 depends upon what? Difference between AT and A1. Do you follow me? Yes. Here it's clear that A2 is greater than AT which is greater than A1. Yeah, I hope you understand this, right? This is understood, है ना? साक्षम साक्षम भैया, करना क्या है आपको? व्हाट इज योर एम हियर? व्हाट इज योर पर्पस इन लाइफ बडी? हाँ ना, मतलब डोंट ग्रो, डोंट लेट अदर्स ग्रो, क्या चल क्या रहा है सक्षम यहाँ पे? सनी देओल मतलब पंप उखाड़ना है आपको, जाइए फिर वो करिए यहाँ पे डिस्टर्ब क्यों कर रहे हैं हमें यार? Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna ignore most of what's going on here. Yes, because that is what I'm here for, right? I'm here to help people who want to be helped. Yes, with respect to cat, not mentally, right? That's not what I'm here for. Yeah. Okay, so with this in mind, right? With this in mind, I'm gonna tell you two rules that you have to make sure, right? That you remember. The rules are what? The first rule is whenever you use allegations, right? Anyone who already knows what allegations are, right? Anyone who does not know also pay attention, right? The types of quantities must be the same. When I say the type, yes, so when I talk about A1, A2 and AT, right? When I say type, I mean if we are talking about weight, then all three must be weight. If I'm talking about price, all three must be price, let's say cost price or whatever, right? If I'm talking about selling price, all three must be selling price. If I'm talking about profit, all three must be profit. If I'm talking about concentration, all three must be concentration, right? And if I'm talking about, let's say, price per unit, yes, price of something per unit, then all three must be the same. Do you follow me? Yes. So the type of these three things, right, must be the same. You cannot allegate height with weight. You cannot allegate cost price with profit, right? This would not give the result that we require, right? Number two, what you have to keep in mind is the unit. Yes, units of all three things must be the same. Yes. So if you are dealing with, let's say, percentage, all of this must be in percentage. If you are dealing with, say, currency, any rupees, dollars, whatever, all this must be the same. If you are dealing with, rupees per kg, yes, let's say we're dealing with rupees per kg, and one of the quantities are given in terms of rupees per gram, and we'll have to make sure that we convert one of these, either convert this into kilogram or convert this into grams. Do you get it? Right. So two things you have to keep in mind. You have to do a mental check when you allegate. First thing is what type of the quantity, second is what unit of the quantity, right? Have you all understood this? If you have understood this, right, if you've already understood this, then the next question is going to be a cakewalk for you guys, right? The next question is going to be a cakewalk, and with the help of the next question, I'll try and explain to you how allegations can be used, right? So if you have not understood allegations with help of the theory that I told you, right, it's time for me to push you into the pond. Yes, here. So you have a question here, right? You have a question here. Go through this question. If you can answer it in any other method, please go ahead and do that, right? Or if you already know what allegations are, use that as well. Right? Either which ways, I'm going to give you the usual, about a minute. Let's see if I can get the answer. Yes, this is a very simple question, guys. This is not even a pond. This is like I'm pushing you into a tub of water. Yes, not even as deep as a swimming pool, right? Just a tub of water. This is very basic. Yes. Acha, others, guys, you're gonna have to stop encouraging, people like these. Yes, unless you keep, adding fuel to the fire is not gonna end. Yes, so avoid, right? The tech team is working on. I think the earlier account he had Kumar somebody, right? That account was blocked as well, and he's actually managed to take out time from all this idiocracy to create another channel and then come and disturb you. Don't worry, right? Try and avoid all this, right? Don't let it hinder your learning. Yes. All right, any answers? Wow, we've already started getting answers. Great, super. Wow. Yes, 5:3, guys. Super. Girish, थोड़ा थोड़ा ध्यान से, right? They're asking two varieties. They have mentioned the first variety to be the cheaper one, the second variety to be the more expensive, right? So ratio thoda dekh lo, right? Otherwise it's all good. Yes. The people who said 5:3, तुम भी देख लो अगर तुम्हारा सही है. People who said 3:5, आप भी देख लो तुम्हारा आपका सही है. साक्षम यार भैया थोड़ा एक काम कर देना. साक्षम मैं आपके लिए एक अलग से क्लास करूंगा जहाँ पे हम ये टाइम पास कर सके, है ना. अभी यहाँ पे 100 परसेंटाइल की बात चल रही है और आप मतलब Anjali, the timing is 6:30 till 8. That's the timing. Okay, all right. Great. So let's see how we would answer this, right? Technically, how this should be answered is you do not know the quantity of the first variety and you do not know the quantity of the second variety. So you consider this X, you consider this Y. Yes. So this is what 15 rupees per liter. Let's consider there's X liters of it. 19 rupees per liter. Let's consider Y liters of it. Then what will be the total price here? 15X. And here 19y, correct? Now what is this done? This has been added, right? Added into something that would give us a price of 16.5 rupees per liter. So I have added X liters, I have added Y liters. So for 16 at 16.5 rupees, what will be the quantity that I'll be selling? X plus Y. And that's how you would do this question with the help of variables and equations. Now all you have to do is what? Find out the value of X, find out the value of Y. Since you have only one equation, you will not get the exact value of X and Y, right? You will get it in terms of ratios. The same process, instead of doing it with the help of variables, instead of doing it with the help of equations, right? If you use allegations, right? So what did I say? The ratio of N1, right? So N1 over N2. Yes, so here N1 is nothing but what? This 15 rupees wala variety, right? And N2 is what? 19 rupees variety, right? The variety at 19 rupees, or call it chocolate 1, chocolate 2, whatever, right? Okay. So N1 by N2 is basically what? The difference between the given average, right? So the average here is 16.5. I have to subtract it by 19. Would I do 19 minus 16.5 or 16.5 minus 19? It's always what? Expensive quantity minus the cheaper quantity, right? In this case, it's the average. Yes. Over 80 minus, that is total average, minus average of first quantity. Yes. So this is what I have to do. I have to find the ratio. That's the question, right? Ratio. They're not even asking the actual quantity. They cannot ask just with this information, right? So they're asking for the ratio. All I have to do is now substitute values in this, right? So you can either do it this way, where A2 is what? 19 minus 16.5. Yes. Over 16.5, that is the total average, minus 15. Yes. So 19 minus 16.5 is how much? 2.5. And 16.5 minus 15 is how much? 1.5. So the average becomes here what, guys? So the ratio becomes here what? 5/3, which is nothing but 5. Yes, 5:3. So anyone who said the answer is 3:5, thoda sa dekh lijiye, right? A small hiccup here, right? That can actually be avoided. Clear? Yes. So this is how you would do it with the help of allegation. Right now, allegation, if you do not want to stick to, some terms, some equations, if this kind of gives you a nauseatic feeling कि sir ये क्या है, sir A2 A80 बहुत confusing है, then you can go ahead and use a pictographical representation of the same thing. That is, first say 15 is my first quantity. मेरे को ratio क्या चाहिए? I want the ratio of first quantity is to second quantity, correct? 15 is to 19 वाला ratio मुझे चाहिए, right? Chocolate 1 is to chocolate 2. Yes. So when I allegate, right? Do you remember? I told you two things you have to check before you allegate, right? यहाँ पे रेशियो क्या है 16.5. yes sorry average क्या है 16.5. Two things that you have to check before going ahead with allocation is what? Two things. One, type. Yes, what is this? Price per liter, price per liter, price per liter. The type is same. Number two, the units, rupees per liter, rupees per liter, rupees per liter. Check. Units and type must always be the same in order to allocate, right? Now I want what? Iska kitna ratio hai? That is N1, this part, and the other ratio, C2's ratio, right? So this ratio, right, this part will be obtained by taking the difference of these two things. 19 minus 16.5 is how much? 2.5. Yes. And in dono ka ratio, difference, right? In dono ka ratio, difference, but greater minus the smaller, always. 16.5 minus 15, what is it? 1.5. So 2.5 is to 1.5 will be the ratio, or in other terms, 25 is to 15, which is nothing but 5 is to 3. Got it? So 5 is to 3 is going to be my actual answer here. Yeah. So this, if you use the pictorial representation of it, it actually becomes very easy for you to quickly do it than writing the equation and then substituting values, right? So this, ladies and gentlemen, is allocations, and this will actually help you get through a lot of hurdles. Yes, this will help you answer a lot of questions. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Acha Girish, YOLO. Everybody knows what YOLO means, but yeah, of course, YOLO. Yeah, that doesn't mean you do something stupid on that basis, right? YOLO, of course. Great. Thank you for giving us that piece of information, Girish. Yeah, have you understood allegations though? That's my question. Have you guys understood what allegations are and how to use them? Can you quickly let me know that? Yeah, great, great, superb, guys, superb. Now, this is allegation. There are a few things that you'll have to keep in mind here. Okay, I'll quickly explain it to you. Right, you can make notes of it if you want. Yes. Now, it is understood. It is understood that the average, right? The average cannot be smaller than the smallest value, and it cannot be greater than the greatest value. Which basically means what? This average has to be from 15 to 19. Yes, do you see how 16.5 is in this range, 15 to 19? Yes, that's one thing. Number two, if it is 15, if the average price itself is 15, which basically means C2, there was no component of C2 in the total. Or if this price is 19, it basically means what? C1 nahi tha usme, right? The entire mixture, the final mixture did not have any component of C1. Only then the average price will be one of these prices. 15 rupees agar hai average, this means सिर्फ C1 था, C2 0 था. Why? If you see 15 agar yahan pe hai, 15 minus 15, this will be 0. So the ratio of C2 becomes 0, right? Again, 19 agar hai, to what does it mean? It means that the first chocolate, right? The variety, first variety was 0. Do you get it, right? So the ratio, right? When you look at allegation, right? This value will always be between 15 and 19. Yes. If it is 15, it means if it is one of these values, which means the other value is 0. Simple as that, right? Clear. Number two, what you have to look at here is something called arithmetic mean, right? So let me explain with this question itself, right? So what do we have? We have 15 rupees, yes, and we have 19 rupees. Yes, I want to find out if at all this question had answer choices. Okay, this is shortcut, guys. This shortcut will help you eliminate answer choices, but this is only used for what? This is used for answer choices question, MCQ questions, right? Okay, so what was the average given to us? The average given to us was 16.5, right? Now, but if these two quantities, right? If these two quantities were equal, 1 kilo of 15 and 1 kilo of 19 rupees, what would have been the average price, or what is the arithmetic mean? Arithmetic mean is basically what? 15 plus 19 by 2, or the middle term. 15 and 19's middle term would be what? 17. Yes. So here if you notice, the average given to us, is lower than the arithmetic mean, right? So if the average is lower than the mean, yes, if the average is lower than the mean, it basically means what? It means that these two quantities, right, the ratio of these two quantities, which was what, 5 is to 3, yes, this means that the cheaper quantity, right, the cheaper quantity in these two is how much? 15 rupees, right? This will be more. So see how there are 5 parts of cheaper and only 3 parts of expensive. Why? Because the average is less than the mean. Yes. So here cheaper, C means cheaper. Okay, cheaper will be more than expensive. Yes. If the average is greater than the mean, yes, this means what? Expensive will be more than the cheaper one. Yes. अगर ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, now if you are not able to understand, don't fret, don't worry, don't try to pressurize yourself too much. Just try to understand what I'm trying to say, right? So if the average is greater than mean, average is what? Could be for any number of quantities. Mean is what? Arithmetic mean of these two numbers, 15 and 19 ka mean, which is how much? 17. Get it? If the given average is greater than the mean, it basically means what? That expensive quantity is more than cheaper quantity. And if they are equal, yes, let me show you, right? 15, 19, and if the price given to us was 17, this would be what? 17 minus 15, 2. 19 minus 17, 2. 2 is to 2 means 1 is to 1. Basically means what? These quantities are also equal. Get it? So the expensive quantity and the cheaper quantity both are going to be equal. So these 3 points, right? These 3 points will quickly help you eliminate maximum number of answer choices, right? So if at all you come across a question from allegation mixtures that has answer choices, MCQ, then you can always rely upon this. Yes. Yeah. Got it? Yeah. So let's try and answer this question now. Let's try and answer this question, right? This is a question, this is MCQ, right? There are answer choices, so keep that in mind. Let's see if you can quickly answer this. Yes. ये बहुत ही सिंपल है, बहुत ही सिंपल क्वेश्चन दिस इज, ट्राई एंड आंसर दिस. Some are saying answer C. In fact, all are saying answer C. Very good, guys. Great. Yes. So, what is the question here? They have given us two prices. Yes, one is $4 per pound, another is $5 a pound butter. Yes, and they are priced at what? $23 for 5 pounds, right? So when we alligate, we know this is a question that can be answered through allegations, right? So when we alligate, we have to make sure of two things, that the type and the units are the same, right? So type is same though, right? Price, but then the unit is what? Per pound. This is for 5 pounds, right? So if we were to alligate, we would have $4 per pound, $5 per pound, $23 for 5 pounds, which means for every pound it will be how much? $4.6. Yes, either that way, or if you can actually not try to bring this down. Instead, if you were to bring this up, right? If you were to convert this into 5 pounds each, then that will be even easier, right? So this would become what? This would become $20 for 5 pounds, and this would be $25 for 5 pounds, right? And we have what? 23 as the price given to us. Yes. So here what's happening? Yeah. So here we need to find out not the ratio but the actual quantity, but then the ratio will help us get that, right? So what is 25 minus 23? 2. What is 23 minus 23? So these butters, 4 per pound and 5 per pound, should be mixed in the ratio 2:3. They've given that the first type is 40. This is 40. Yes. So you don't have to use ratios every time and find out the value of x and all. Just look at this. What multiplied to 2 would give me 40 into 20. Yes. So I do the same thing here into 20. This would give me the answer. Yes. Now, while you are at it, which of these answer choices can you actually blindly eliminate? Yes, that's the idea here, right? Now look at this, guys. What is the average here? What is the average here? 20 and 25. What is the average? 22.5. Correct? 20 or 25 ka mean kya hai? Arithmetic mean, right? 20, 25's arithmetic mean is what? 45 by 2, that is 22.5. है ना? Right? So, given average here is more than the mean. This basically means what? This means that the expensive quantity is more than the cheaper quantity, right? This basically means if this value given to me is 40, right? अगर ये 40 है, then my answer should be greater than 40, right? So I can eliminate what answer choice? Only 40. Yes, though I was only able to eliminate one answer choice, right? Let's say I don't have the time, right? Let's say I don't have the time to solve all of this, right? I can obviously find out mean of two numbers mentally, right? If you think I have to write down to find the mean of two numbers, then you'll have to up the game a bit, right? Mean and all, you can find it mentally. Yes. So if you were to guess, let's say you were to guess, you didn't have a choice, which is a very bad thing to do, guys. It's a very bad thing to do, to guess in CAT, right? But if you think, this was something that had to be done, then I would obviously not go for D. Got it? So one of these three answer choices could be right. I can guess for that, but not 40. Got it? So 3 into 20 would be how much? 60, and that's my answer. Yes. This was the basics of it. Now, if you noticed, what I have done is I've tried to bring up the ratio, yes, without actually getting into this complex wala calculation. I understand, sir, dividing a number by 5 is not a complex calculation. Let's say this was not 5. Let's say this was 13. Let's say this was 25, whatever, right? Then this would have been a complex calculation, right? So multiplication is always easier than division, right? That's a well-known fact. Everybody knows that. Yes. So always stick to a process that would not require a lot of time, and also there'd be very little chances of making a mistake. Yes. Clear hai? Right? Great. Superb, superb. Yeah, easy question. Of course, easy question, right? These are easy questions, right? We are, like I told you, what we are worried about right now is pushing you into a pond and seeing how well you can swim, right? One last question, right? A, a last question for today's session. If you can quickly answer this question, then we'd be way ahead. Oh yeah, Aju. Yes, Aju. Let's take a sip of water. I think we've forgotten celebration. We've forgotten all the good things between all this ruckus happening in the chat, right? Cheers, you guys. Saksham Bhatia is the literal personification of Kabhi Haveli Pe Aao. They've again what? Drink water. मतलब फिर से पानी पियो. अच्छा, you will understand with this question. Don't worry. अगर पहले question वाला समझ में नहीं आया, you will understand with the help of this question, right? The very similar question, just that a small part of it is missing. That's it. Yes. Okay, we have multiple answers: 38, 54. Any other answers, or anyone who's gotten 38 or 54? Now, Navyavani, if you look at the question, right? If you look at the question, they're asking for the price of the basket in terms of rupees per dozen, right? Which is basically what? Average price of the basket. है ना? Now, average, can the average be lower than the minimum value, or can it be greater than the maximum value? Of course not, right? So it has to be between 30 and 42, correct, Navyavani? So it cannot be 54. Yes, it has to be between 30 and 42. Yes. Shraddha, not 18 either. Like I said, it cannot be less than 30. It cannot be more than 42. Yes. No, no, Navyavani, no. Check. Great. Dev, which part are you not able to understand? The previous question? Is it the previous question? आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा? Don't worry. आपको समझाऊंगा. I'll explain it with the help of this question. Right? It's very simple. See, so here what is given to us? One price is given to us 30 per dozen. Another price is given to us 42 rupees per dozen. Yes. What are they asking for is something in terms of rupees per dozen, right? So the type is the same, unit is the same. I do not know what is the value of this. Yes. I have to find a value. I have to find a value in such a way that the ratio remains to be 1:2. The ratio remains to be 1:2. Yes, this is what I have to do. So okay, there are multiple ways of dealing with a question like this as well, right? I can go ahead and consider this as x, yes, and make equations. Do you remember the equation that we had dealt with earlier? Yes, n1 by n2 is equal to a2 minus at over at minus a1. Now all I have to do is what? Replace n1 with 1, n2 with 2, because 1 by 2 is the ratio given to us. And a2 minus at basically would be what? A2 given to me is 42 minus x over x minus 30. The reason why we're doing x minus 30 is because we know this value will be more than 30. Yes. So now if I solve this further, right, this is x. Now if I solve this further, I'll get the value of x. Yes. Now if you were to do this question in less than, say, 60 seconds or less than 45 seconds, right, this would not be a very wise idea. Why? Because now you will be involved in a linear equation, right? You'll have to solve this linear equation to get the value of x. Yes, since there are no answer choices, you cannot reverse engineer either. Yeah. Now let's try and look at the other way of dealing with this question, right? I know the ratio of first type of banana and second type of banana is 1:2. How about I go and assume a value, right? Assume a value that first banana was, let's say, 1 dozen, and second variety of banana we had 2 dozens of it. Yes. Now what happens? What is the price of first banana given to us in the question, guys? 30 rupees and 42 rupees. If this is 30 rupees, so for 1 dozen it is 30 rupees. Yes. For 2 dozens here, right? 2 dozens here. 1 dozen is 42 rupees, which means 2 dozens would be 84 rupees. Divided by the average price, right? How many dozens have we bought, guys? 1 dozen of this and 2 dozens of this, which means totally 3 dozens. Hai na? Yes, so in the basket right now, according to our assumption, we have 3 dozen. We need the price per dozen. This is basically how much? 114 over 3. Yes, that is 38. Yes, 114 में से if I remove 90, 90 by 3 is 30, 90 is gone, remaining 24, 8, 38 rupees. Yes, this is also something that you can use. Yeah, so this basically moves with an idea of assumption. I assume that the ratio should be 1:2, hai na? So I'm assuming this is 1 dozen, 2 dozen. I can assume any value, 2 dozens. If this is 2 dozens, this will be 4 dozens. If this is 6 dozens, this will be 12 dozens, right? So all I have to do is make sure that the ratio is maintained. Yes. So this is another way of looking at this question. Okay. Now, if you were to answer this question mentally, right? You may not be able to do this mentally, right? Because there would be some complex prices given, some complex calculations that you can do, right? If you were to answer this question extremely without the help of a paper, what you have to do is look at the difference. 30 and 42, what is the difference? 12, right? So assume there is a scale, right? There are 12 parts in it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, right? 12 parts. These 12 parts need to be split in the ratio 1:2. Yes, so 12, if I were to split in the ratio 1:2, how would I split it? 4:8, correct? 4 and 8. Yeah, so now all I have to do is from the greater quantity subtract 4, or from the lower quantity add 8. Yes, what is the greater quantity here? 42. So 42 minus 8 is what? Sorry, 42 minus 4 is what? 38. Or I have to do what? Lower quantity. From the lower quantity I have to add the difference, right? So 30 plus 8 is how much? Sorry, 8, not 4, 8. 30. Do you get it? Yes, so you can do this mentally. This is what I'm saying, right? This particular part, you can do it mentally. So I've discussed over 3 methods of dealing with one simple question, right? So I think we've exceeded our time a little bit now, right? I'm gonna take a leave real quick. Yes. I hope you guys have learned a lot today, right? Before you guys leave and move on to ma'am's class, I'm gonna have to apologize to ma'am for taking a little longer. Yes, I hope she forgives me. Yes, and I hope you guys also forgive me. I'm extremely sorry for taking up 3 minutes extra, right? So before leaving to ma'am's class, I'd want you to hit a like if you have understood everything that we've spoken today. If you have any questions and you want them to be answered, you have to hit a like, drop it in the comment section, right? The best thing that you can do right now is to join the Telegram app's group chat, right? Type this URL on your web address, right, on your web browser, tinyurl.com/Unacademy chat. This will help you take to the group, right? I am also part of the group, so if you have any questions, you can also throw there, right? The next thing that I want to let you know is the Unacademy subscription, right? Apart from the live interaction, you have live polls and leaderboards. Test series is the most important thing, and the highlight of this particular thing is the live doubt clearing sessions, right? If you're planning on doing it, download the Unacademy's learning app, right? Hit the CAT section of it. Do not forget to use the code